Rahim here with Frank Warren. Don't start sweating yet. I even asked my first question.
You worry me. You worry me.
Listen, man, you are, as they say back, you say you haven't gone anywhere. What have you been doing with this time? And what has it been about 2017 that you intend to bring 2018 to be the year of Frank Warren?
Well, what we've been doing, we've built a channel called BoxNation in the last 6 years. We've invested a lot of time and money delivering to the British public some of the best fights from around the world. Looking at all those great Floyd Mayweather fights, looking at all those Manny Pacquiao fights, looking at all those great fights from everywhere around the world to the fans. That's what we've been doing, and building up our fighters over here. Getting Billy Joe Saunders winning the WBO title championship, getting Terry Flanagan in there amongst many other guys, and developing some of the best young talent this country has seen for many, many years. That's what we've been doing.
Now, you know, I'm coming off of the Anthony Joshua fight. The other promoter in this part of the pond here that is developing talent and putting on shows. We have a problem oftentimes in the States with promoters working with each other to get the fights that we want, and everybody knows that's an issue. How well can you work with Eddie Hearn? Are you interested in that? Is this going to be an issue here on this side of the pond as well?
I've put my fighters on his show. Done it many, many times. I haven't got a problem with that. I got a fight here. I got my guy here. Anthony Yarde, Frank Buglioni. I've made them a big offer. They don't want it. What do you want me to do? I can't put their arm up their back. They either want it or they don't. We've done all these things, and they're all there to be done. But you know what? I don't care what they're doing. All I worry about is what we're doing, what we're delivering to fans. You know, I don't like people. I don't like the fans having to go to secondary market, the StubHub, buying their tickets, paying over the odds. I don't like every show being a pay-per-view show when it don't warrant being a pay-per-view show. We want to deliver to the fans. We want to look after the fans because they're important to us. And what we've done is work very hard on that, as I say, developing our young talent. And there are guys now who are coming to work with us, which is fantastic. Over the last few weeks, we've got Josh Warrington in a good place where he just won his final eliminator. He's going to fight Lee Selby if Lee Selby comes through okay on the 9th of December from the Copperbox show. We've got Carl Frampton signed with us. We're doing a great show in Belfast. We've got 2 world title fights on that show as well. I've got Liam Smith fighting Liam Williams in a rematch, which will be a final eliminator for a title. It's brilliant. We've got Billy Joe Saunders going out in Canada fighting Lemieux, going to his own backyard. That's a great fight. I've got Gary Kokorian going and fighting Jeff Hung in Australia. We've got loads of stuff on. We're busy. We're so busy, I can't tell you. We're busy.
Now, in there, you mentioned a couple of guys that could really have super fights with global reach, huge attention. We're going to start with Billy Joe Saunders. I know he's got the Lemieux fight, but that's not the fight that people most want to see down the road, right? We want to see this unification for the middleweight title.
We're forcing it. We had a contract sent to us by Golovkin.
I think that might be Golden Boy or Triple G ringing right now. I know.
It was Eddie Hearn. He asked me what I thought about the pay-per-view show on Saturday. I thought it sucked. But anyway, what it was we got a contract come through for Bill to fight Golovkin. Golovkin fought Daniel Jacobs. Didn't look too good. They rested him until the fight against Canelo in September, so Bill lost out. Not like we were frightened to do it. It was there. That contract was there for him to do. So what we're doing now, we're out there. The fight's on HBO. William Lemieux is getting prime time out there. Bill will get an airing, and we're trying to force the issue.
We know we're going to get Triple G and Canelo come May of next year. Let's hope that fight's definitive. Somebody walks away with the titles without another draw or something, some more shenanigans.
Well, it's terrible, wasn't it? It was never a draw in a million years.
So assuming that this time we get a definitive conclusion, is Billy Joe Saunders committed to fighting the winner of that fight and giving us a unification at the middleweight division?
You keep saying that to me like you make that question like it's a statement from you saying, is he committed? We had a contract. It was on our desk to sign. We signed it and sent it back to fight in June this year with Billy Joe in New York against Golovkin. It didn't happen. What more commitment do you want? You're talking to me like we don't want it. He's going to fight Lemieux in Canada. Why is he going there? Come on, guys, I'll go anywhere. I'll fight. I'm a fighter. That's where we're at.
All right, so now you've heard it from the horse's mouth there. The guy who's seen the contract, he said it's on the table and they're willing to do it. So then all we have to sort out is this Frampton-Santa Cruz triple, rubber match. This is one we want to see.
Of course we want to see it. It's another fight we want to see. But you know what we got going over here? We've got Josh Warrington, we've got Lee Selby, and we've got Carl Frampton. So we're going to get we're going to do our bit. We're going to do our the Brits. We've got 3 really good British featherweights. They're going to fight. And then come fight Santa Cruz if he's still around. Then fight him. It's a great division. Let's do it. Maybe with Al, we can do our own Super 6, but involving the best, not the second best, the best fighters.
Okay, but those 2 guys, they got a split fight, right? One won the first, one won the second.
So you want the rubber match?
We want the rubber match.
Then let's get it on.
That's all I'm saying. Let's get it on, Frank.
You sound like Marvin Gaye. We want to get it on. Mercy, mercy me. We're going to get it on.
So now we know that Santa Cruz's father has some issues traveling. He's not been well. It seems like a fight in Belfast for the rubber match is unlikely. Is there any movement there? Is there a neutral ground? Are you willing to come back to America with Frampton to settle this business with Santa Cruz?
Who knows? We'll see what happens. But at the moment, we're in Belfast. We're in Belfast, where it's happening, where the crowd, where people actually come out and buy tickets, where there's going to be, in the football stadium, there's going to be 30, 40,000 people that are going to come and see him fight. So where would you want to put the fight on?
I'd want to put the fight on wherever my fighter's got the best chance. Everybody wants to fight at home.
Belfast, then, don't we? He comes from Ireland, so we go to Belfast. Yeah,
I understand your logic. I'm just trying to figure out a way everybody can get together and make an agreement.
All on your own.
Yeah, just
home advantage, and he's going to get the home advantage. That's good.
You've got a heavyweight here, man, that you like to call a monster, but he's a gentle giant. I just talked to him.
He's a gentle giant. When he gets in that ring, he's a monster.
He's only got 5 fights, but in the heavyweight division these days, you don't seem to need a lot of fights to get a title shot.
Listen, he's obviously he's a baby. He's got a long way to go yet, and I'm a promoter and I'm banging a drum for him. But he's a tremendous prospect, and for me, I think he's the most exciting young heavyweight I've ever been involved with, and I've been involved with all the guys. He's something else. He's something special. And go and ask any of the guys who sparred with him. He sparred with all of them, Andy, Joshua, and all of them. You ask them what they think about him.
Well, Daniel Dubois has this lure following him that he knocked down Joshua in sparring, which, sparring is just training. It's not a fight, but this is what they say.
I weren't there. I mean, the only one who could, it's 2 people who can, well, there's people, I weren't there. Ask Anthony Joshua if he knocked him down. I don't know.
But my point is, how do you build a fight like this? You got a little steam behind him. That name resonates.
Build him like I build other fighters. We build him. We work with him, and we bring him through. And he'll come through the system and do what he's got to do. That's what we do for a living. We build fighters.
Right. So in the heavyweight division, it's one of those things you can build a little quicker because some of these guys
can, and you can't. He's a teenager. I mean, he was a teenager.
Now,
he's 20 now, but he's fresh. He only had 7. Yeah, he only had 7 senior amateur bouts. That's all he had. He obviously had a lot of junior fights, and so we're bringing him through. But at the moment, we're stepping him up. He's been in 10-rounders already, 10-round fights. He's won them, which is quite unusual for a guy that age. In Britain, it is. So we're moving him. We're bringing him through.
You're going to take your time.
Take time. No, listen. This is not a 100-yard dash. It's a marathon, and I'll bring him through properly and make the right moves at the right time. But I'll tell you something, I ain't frightened about making the right moves for him because he's competent. When you see him in that ring, it's just, there have been very brief appearances because he's such a concussive and such a devastating puncher, but he's got great balance, he's got great poise, he shapes up well, and more importantly, he believes in himself. He is absolutely cool. He's the coolest cat in that ring. Unbelievable.
The beauty of a marathon is you can fall behind, sometimes way behind in a race, and still manage to get your legs under you and catch up.
That's true.
Now, one guy I haven't seen him on Instagram lately, haven't seen him on Twitter, so I'm hoping maybe he's in a cave somewhere reconciling himself. Have you been visiting Tyson Fury somewhere, getting ready to make a spectacular return?
Well, no one more than me wants to see him back in there because he is the champion, isn't he? This guy never lost his title in the ring at all. IBF stripped him and allowed Charles Martin, to fight for the world title against Anthony Joshua, and then we all know where that went from there. He never lost his title in the ring. He's got a hearing in I believe it's in January, and after that, the dust will settle and he'll come through. Get himself into shape and do what he does best. Did you see him fight? Did you see the fight when he went to the other guy's backyard? We talk about home turf now. When he went to Klitschko's backyard, did you see that fight?
I did see that fight.
Took him to school. And 18 months later, Anthony Joshua had life and death with him. On the floor and up. He took him to school.
The question more so than the legalities of it. That's going to sort itself, right?
Yeah.
The man, the mental, even more so than the physical. You know this man. Yeah. You root for him. You promote him. You put everything behind him. You have to have been disappointed in the way these things have played out. How do you bring him back? As a promoter, what do you do to get a fighter, a champion like this, back on his game?
Get a license. And once he gets the license, mentally, I'm hoping everything would fall in place. So he gets his license, give him a couple of fights. He's going to need to get out there quick, get the ring rust out. He's been out of the ring for 2 years. You know, in that time, you've had Lucas Brown test positive for PEDs. It was in Chechnya or wherever he fought. Banned, and now he's back in the ring. You got Ortiz, banned. He'll probably be back soon. This guy's been sitting on his backside for all this time. It's crazy stuff. But the bottom line is, get over that. Get over this thing with UCAD. That's the British Drug Agency. Get over that, and then get him back in the ring. You know, he needs to be there. For me, he's head and shoulders above all. And the more I watch the the champions out there, it's a no-brainer. Did you see Takem's fight against Joseph, against Joe Parker?
Oh, on the internet.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
He done a better job. It didn't stop him, but he done a better job. So I look at them, because they're all holding these titles that were never lost in the ring by Tyson Fury. He never lost those titles in the ring.
So in his absence, and we have to admit, by much his own doing, he didn't lose him in the ring, but he somewhat gave him away.
Absolutely. Yeah,
do you accept Anthony Joshua as the heavyweight champion of the world?
I accept he has a version of the heavyweight title of the championship of the world. I look at your guy, Wilder.
Sure. A guy, not my guy. None of these guys are my guys, but he's an American. Fair play.
All right, he's not your guy. You disowned him. Right, I look at him. When he won the title, I thought he looked really good in that fight, but he's not impressed me since. He hasn't impressed me since. And I look at Parker, and there's it's a little. It's very hard to toss up. Up until Saturday, I'd put Anthony Joshua above him. After Saturday, he's come down a bit because he's got chinks in his armour. He can be caught. You've seen him. He's vulnerable. He gets hit. He got hit and was on the floor against Klitschko. Dillian Whyte wobbled him, and he had quite a tough fight with Dillian Whyte. And I think Dillian Whyte's then gone to war with Derek Chisora, and there was nothing in it. And then you think what Tyson Fury did with Derek Chisora. Derek Chisora never won a second of any round, and he stopped him. You look at all that, and it's I think there's chinks in all their armour. I mean, I don't think Joseph Parker's a fantastic champion. I don't think that at all. I think he's there. He's there to be beaten. I look at Wilder. He's a big puncher. I'd like to see. That's the fight I'd like to see them two in with each other. I want to see that fight because they're both big punchers. And it's who's got the better chin.
Joshua Wilder. That's a fight.
I would like to see it. And who would win out of that? I think. I don't know what. Was it Stavern won the title?
Yeah, and he's rematching him just on Saturday.
And he took a good shot against Stavern. It was not a bad puncher. Hit him with a really good shot when he won that title, and he didn't move him. So he seemed to have a good chin. I don't know whether he can take an Anthony Joshua shot or not. I've got no idea. But I'll tell you something. If he connects with Anthony Joshua, you know he's going to put him on the floor. Because you've seen him wobble against Dillian Whyte. You've seen him on the floor you've seen him wobble. He's got a big heart. Joshua's got a big heart. But he's there to be hit. He's vulnerable.
There's a big debate between my side of the pond and yours. Eddie Hearns put this offer out to Wilder, assuming he beats Tavern in the rematch, to come over, fight Dillian Whyte, $4 million, $3 million purse, $4 million pay-per-view.
So make the fight.
If you had Wilder, do you take that deal?
What, to fight Dillian Whyte?
To fight Dillian Whyte for $4.
But if I was his manager, I was saying, what do I want to fight Dillian Whyte for? I want to fight Joshua. Right? And listen, and I don't blame Dillian Whyte. Of course, Dillian Whyte, I get where he's coming from. Make the fight. And, I don't know whether...
Build the fight.
I don't know whether... Is it a big pay-per-view fight? I don't know. It's a big, 4 million people are going to watch it. I won't hold my breath on that one. But the bottom line is, Dillian Whyte's entitled to a rematch with Joshua. They had a good fight, didn't they? He wobbled him.
Yeah.
Dillian Whyte, going in that fight, what did he had? 12 fights? I don't know how many fights he had. He hadn't fought anybody going into that fight. Make that one. There's a nice match. I'd much rather seen Dillian Whyte in there on Saturday than attack him. Attack him. What do they call it?
Tack him. I don't think I pronounce it properly either.
he's similar to Evander Holyfield. I read, and someone said, Evander Holyfield. Can you imagine if Evander Holyfield had been in there with him? Do me a favour. What are they smoking, these guys?
Lastly, Frank, 2018 is right around the corner. You've got one night before then, maybe two. But how is it that fans should rate the coming of Frank Warren and your new endeavors in 2018? Why should they be tuned into you and not Eddie Hearn in Matchroom? What is it that makes you the premier promoter of 2018?
What? Well, that's up. So they got their money. They spend their money wherever they like. I'll just do what I always do, just keep making fights, delivering fights. I've been around the block a few times and keep doing it. And 2018, we've got some good fighters, some good champions. More importantly, we've got the best young talent in the world. Forget about Britain. In the world, good fighters, quality fighters. Who I'm telling you, next year you're all going to be saying, "Oh, where did he come from? Who's this guy? Who's that guy?" We got great talent. That's all I care about. That makes it. The fighters make me. I don't make the fighters. The fighters make my promotions.
Can you bring Tyson Fury back and upset this apple cart in the heavyweight division?
So I hope he gets his license back, and I hope we can sort something out. I'd love to. I mean, Tyson, for me, I like Tyson Fury. And listen, I wasn't a believer in Tyson Fury in the early days. I didn't believe in him. I thought Derek Chisora would beat him. When he fought Derek Chisora the first time, I thought Chisora would give him a lot of problems. As I mentioned earlier, he took him to school. I'm a believer with him. I'm a believer. And what he did with Klitschko was something else.
Is there a window of opportunity with the guy? Like, how long does Fury have to, it's a young man's game?
He's only 28. It's a young man's game. He ain't an old guy. I'll tell you, what they're stealing off him at the moment is his prime
lifestyle.
years. He's prime. No, he's prime yet. Yeah, but he's one of those guys. He's got to have see something and say, right, I'll train for that. He's not one of these guys who's in the gym just training for the sake of it. He has dabbles a bit. He needs something to aim for, and hopefully, with this thing comes out the way in January, I hope he gets some direction in his life and some fulfillment, because we need him. We want to see him. He's great. The fans want to see him. Do you want to see a guy losing the world title, the heavyweight, the blue ribbon title, but not in the ring? That can't be right.
I'd love to see his return. I think the heavyweight division's in a great position. I hope your man with his 5 fights climbs the ladder as well. Daniel Dubois, all of these guys in the heavyweight division, man, they need the return of Fury. So bring that to us. I'm counting on you. Radio Rahim with Frank Warren, breaking down everything that's happening in the boxing and in 2018, making a huge statement. It's a pleasure to talk to you, sir. I don't talk to you often enough, so let's do this more frequently. Radio Rahim with none other than Frank Warren.
Lovely.